That's Sublime on the show. It's Rock 105.3. Today is Free Comedy Friday, and let me tell you something.
Wow.
I was very excited
when
I saw that our old friend Steve Simeone is back. We were just talking like, how long has it been, Steve? Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
That Steve used to come in. We used to see quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's been a minute since you've been in. He is performing at the Grand Comedy Club up in Escondido. Great place to go see a show. Get some delicious food as well. It's fantastic. Pizza, next level. A couple shows tonight, couple shows tomorrow night. Go see Steve. The nicest man in comedy.
Aww.
It is, I don't care. He's just a great human. And so I just love Steve. I'm so glad you're back.
Dude, I'm so happy to be here.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Where you been?
I moved to Florida.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Are
like
you
during COVID.
Oh, Lord.
I thought it was the end of the world and I wanted to go to someplace safe. Welcome to Polk County, buddy.
Florida will take care of you.
Oh.
No doubt about it. Masks, what are those? Get out of here.
Yeah.
That was surreal.
Yeah.
Because it was like the older people were, the less they cared. And I thought it was going to be the opposite.
Right. That's crazy.
I honestly, it was time to get out of LA.
Okay.
This was like June of 2020.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So you really said.
Joey Diaz and I went through COVID like it was Goodfellas. Like, it was like prison. Like he was like, hey dog, I bought some clams. You want to make some linguine and clam sauce? I'm like, Joey, I don't know how to make that. You'll figure it out. He would drop off food. I would cook it, and then me, Lee Syatt, and Joey Diaz would just eat and figure out.
That was your bubble family.
Yeah.
Joey Diaz.
Yeah.
Bubble family.
And then, God bless Joey, he was like, he had seen some things in life.
Yeah.
And he's like, Steve Simeone, this is not good.
No.
These streets are talking.
Dude.
I saw a man get hit with a battle axe in broad daylight and bleeding profusely in Sherman Oaks, dog. 10 o'clock in the morning.
You got to get out of here.
You got to get out.
Get out.
Meanwhile, you're slicing garlic with razor blades over here. You're like,
Garlic with liquefying in the pan.
That's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So do you enjoy Florida?
I love it.
Do you really?
What part of Florida?
Middle of nowhere.
Okay.
Dude, it's all cows.
Oh, wow,
it's
really?
so peaceful.
Huh.
Like, dude,
Any gators?
I've seen them.
Really?
They're so
Okay.
cool. They're
Okay.
like real dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I didn't even think they were real. I'm like,
Yeah, I know. Us Cali people were like,
I'm
what?
like, dude, when you see one, it's like, awesome! They're just so cool. And then you forget they could eat you.
Oh,
You
yeah.
get close.
Like,
and
can I
like,
pet it?
It's a dinosaur.
Yeah, it is.
And then they start to move, and you're like,
Oh,
whoa!
God. Oh, God. Oh, God.
And then my whole career there, I was like, if you zigzag, they can't catch you. And people are like, no, that's how you get eaten, buddy. You just gotta go.
I think that's how you avoid a bullet. When you run. I don't think that's an alligator.
Yeah, those folks live in
They live
Florida.
in the villages.
Panama!
Yeah.
Dude, you know what I tell people? Like, I had no idea how awesome retired people are.
Yeah,
'Cause, the only thing
yeah.
I do is go to church and eat donuts.
There you
All
go.
my
Okay.
buddies are like 70 or over.
Yeah.
I tell my friends, I go, if your parents have retired to Florida and you think you're getting an inheritance, you are not. There's going to be nothing left.
Yeah.
They
They're living
party
it up.
hard.
Really?
They're
Living it up.
so cute.
Yeah,
Wow.
their community is like one of the leaders for like STDs
Yeah, the
and things like
villages.
that. You're like,
I'm
what
afraid
the
to
hell?
go there.
Oh, I would. It's too much.
Yeah, it's way too much.
Most people from the villages are from New York.
Yeah.
New York
And
Jews.
New York Jews, where
Yeah.
my parents are, and they moved to New York. They moved to the villages because it's so much cheaper
Florida.
to live there.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
this giant community, and they drive around their golf
Golf
cars.
carts.
Yep.
And they have,
That's where
they
your
have
money went.
9-hole golf courses
Yep.
everywhere.
Yeah.
All these activities. But my dad just sits on the couch all day and does nothing. My mom's out and about a little bit more.
Yeah, and activities.
But my parents, my dad's 68, my mom's 67.
Oh, so
but
they're still
act,
young.
But they act 89.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
Florida.
Well, that's how it all worked. So I went there. I just wanted to get. I was like, I can live on the beach in Florida for less money than what I'm paying for the valley.
Yeah.
100%.
And I'm like, all right, let me figure it out for a couple months.
Okay.
And then I realized, okay, my parents aren't getting any younger. So I'd been in LA for 20 years, and I'm like, let me buy a little house. And it was where it's really safe.
Yeah,
And my
makes sense.
friend told me it was really safe.
Okay.
And then I moved my parents in. And it was so much fun. I'm like, I'm not giving this. What am I going to go to Austin or LA
Right,
and
yeah,
not
yeah.
have my mom's lasagna and meatballs every
Dude,
day?
come on now.
I'm good.
Good. That's
great.
legit.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
great.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But you're back now, which is good.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
So happy to see you. So yeah, Grand Comedy Club up in Escondido. Definitely go check out Steve because he puts on a great show. What I love about Steve and what really bonded us back in the day
Oh, here we go.
is our love of wrestling.
That's
Oh.
right.
And kind of old school wrestling
The
too.
good stuff.
Because Steve was good friends with Roddy
God
Piper,
rest his
which
soul.
which I always will remember, and I love Roddy on like another level.
Dude, he was the coolest dude ever.
One of the highlights, and I kid you not, I've been doing this for over 30 years. The highlight of my career was when Roddy did an hour on this show.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought he was going to be here for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He stayed for an hour.
Dude.
And I could have
Wow.
done 20 hours with the guy.
His
he
stories.
had
Incredible.
unbelievable. Remind me, how did you guys even
Okay,
meet?
so this is what happened. I remember it vividly.
Yeah.
It was, I had done a Christmas entertaining our troops overseas,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
I was like, you know what? I don't have kids. If somebody's going to go, I can do it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm
makes sense.
not married, not
Yeah,
have kids.
sure.
Like, I can give up a Christmas for the people fighting overseas. And it was Christmas 2008, and it was
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
I remember spending Christmas Day on the USS Nimitz. It was
Oh,
awesome.
that's amazing.
Yeah, you fly in.
Yeah,
it
that's
was like
insane.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, we did. It was the most incredible shows. We were all over that whole region.
That's great.
And then when I finally hooked up to Wi-Fi again, I was in Dubai, and there was an email from Eric Abrams, who at the time was the town coordinator at the Improv, and it just said in the subject line "Rowdy Comedy." I'm like, I'm not
Rowdy comedy.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not a rowdy
No.
comedian. And I clicked it. It was like, do you have any interest in doing a comedy show with Roddy Piper? I was like, yes, yes. Hit send.
Because you were a fan already.
Huge fan.
You know, from back in the
Yeah.
day and all that
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
The awesome stuff.
The 80s.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then I couldn't wait. to meet him. And then I remember like telling all my friends, like, and I was so nervous. I was like a little kid meeting Santa. I
Because
couldn't
that
make
was
eye
the thing back
contact.
then, is that he was trying to get into doing comedy and
Yeah.
telling stories and things
Yeah.
like that, right?
Type stuff.
So
Yeah.
so his manager, so he sees me. I'm the only comedian at the time that had wrestling specific material, and I was like a little afraid of him.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
It's
Because-
intimidating.
Yeah. Plus, like in my brain, he was Roddy Piper, the bad guy wrestler.
He's going to hit you with a coconut.
And that's
at any
exactly
minute.
what I was
At any
saying.
minute.
I remember he seems nice, but don't trust him.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
watching
no.
his hands.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A coconut.
That's going to turn on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, he told me stories about what happened with that.
Oh.
Snooker really tried to kill him for months after that.
That's crazy. So there's a very
And
famous
Snooker
thing.
will kill.
Yeah.
He did.
He
Yeah.
did. Yeah, he did murder somebody.
Murderer.
Jimmy supervised
He did.
Snooker back in
Yeah.
the 80s. He was on this thing called Piper's Pit, which
Okay.
is Roddy Piper's.
Genius.
It was the first real talk show
Yeah.
that a wrestler had
Oh,
on
okay.
TV.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he had Jimmy Snuka on, and Jimmy was from the islands and Fiji and all this stuff. And he grabbed a coconut and hit him in the head with it and knocked him out. And it was this crazy thing,
Oh.
caused a big feud.
And it was a real. It was
It
real.
was a real coconut.
stop
and it
it.
exploded open. So he hit him for real.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he really tried to get him after that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Dude, I didn't realize how real so much of it was.
Yes.
Dude, I have so many stories. Right now, I feel like a fat kid at a new
Oh,
school
yeah.
when I'm
Let's
making
go.
friends. I'm like, okay,
Let's go,
okay.
Steve. I'm here for it.
Okay,
Hang
so
on, I gotta make some popcorn.
I meet
Yeah.
Roddy. I do my wrestling bit,
Yeah.
and he just like this is a sold out improv comedy club, and he just hugs me and starts to pet my hair like a dog. I'm like, what? He was like, that was such a sweet story. I'm like, I can't believe I'm friends with. What's happening right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
And the next day, his manager called me, and she was like, Roddy really liked your set. He'd like to come see you at the Comedy Store. So he comes to the Comedy Store, but I was going up so late in the night. It was
Yeah.
like January of 2009. I remember when he showed up, he had a friend, and then I didn't know if it was his girlfriend, but it turned out it was his daughter. Because you never know in LA,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And she's gorgeous.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was sat them in a booth, and then like I'm waiting 2 hours to go on. I kind of forget that they're there, and I remember I was doing a bit about drinking invisible tea with my niece, and then the thought occurred to me. I'm like, why are you doing this? Roddy Piper's in the audience.
Right.
He's gonna think you're a nerd,
Yeah.
and made him love me even more.
Oh.
He had three
Yeah.
daughters.
There you go.
Aw.
Yeah, so it was
Oh, that's
awesome.
cool.
So then afterwards, his manager calls me. He's like, look, Roddy's recently sober. We want to get him involved in comedy. You seem like the perfect match. He thinks you're a good guy.
There you
You
go.
don't really party.
Right.
You'd be a good influence. Do you want to go meet him? I'm like, yes. So then I went up to the top of the Hollywood Hills. We had a talk, and he's talking about it. He was like, you know how many fights I've had? I'm like, fights? This is pro wrestling.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how real it was for those guys.
Dude's been stabbed. I mean, all
Oh,
kinds of
dude,
crazy
exactly.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I remember I have so many of those
Yeah.
stories.
I know.
So long story short, we link up and I start to meet him every day at the Comedy Store during the day.
Every day?
Yeah.
Just
Oh
working
my
on
gosh.
stuff?
Yeah, so I wanted to get him comfortable enough on stage
Yeah.
where it was no longer a show and he could just be himself.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to tell jokes. I'm like, dude, you don't need jokes.
No, you got stories.
You got
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
would
yeah.
just, because at
So smart.
the Comedy Store in Hollywood, the philosophy of that club is literally painted on the wall where you buy your tickets. And it's from the late, great Mitzi Shore, the godmother of
Yep.
comedy, this is coming from the
Right.
mountaintop.
Yeah.
And it said potluck night. Sunday night is potluck night. It means anybody with the desire can have 3 minutes on stage. It doesn't mean you need to be funny in 3 minutes, but you need to be you,
Okay.
which is very much the Comedy Store.
Okay.
Don't go for the laugh, say it
Right.
because you mean it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start. I'm starting to pull these stories out of Roddy and get him to stop being like, "Take my wife,
Yeah.
please."
Like,
I'm
like this is a good story to tell. This is
yeah,
not the
and that was
greatest
the
story.
fascinating thing. The
Yeah.
stuff that was the most fascinating, he couldn't
Throwaway
see
man.
it.
Throwaway.
Yeah,
man.
totally.
Like when he told me this is not a lie, we're talking. It was like, well, it's like the time I got high with the ninjas. I'm like,
Wait a minute.
What?
Time out. Time out.
Story time.
So this is a real story.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, Roddy, tell the ninja story.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody's gonna want to hear that. And the
Oh,
audience,
I would like to hear the
Eat it
ninja.
up.
Yeah.
Like I'm dying to know what it is.
Yeah.
he was filming. There's a martial arts actor, director guy named Sonny Chiba
Yeah,
who
I've
gets
heard
a
of him.
shout
Yeah.
out in like every Tarantino film.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
So Roddy was like in somewhere in Central America,
Okay.
filming a martial arts movie. There was a civil war 3 clicks away. Those bombs were blowing
Yeah.
up.
Oh, dude.
So he said what made it fascinating is that there were quote unquote American tough guys and Japanese tough guys that were going to be in this movie
Okay.
fighting each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
And he goes, and the Japanese tough guys were ninjas. I'm like, wait a second. Ninjas are
Like
real?
real?
Yeah. I'm like,
Real?
That's
I'm
really
like, it's a
thing.
Halloween costume.
Yeah,
it's like a
right.
pirate,
Yeah,
which are also real.
yeah,
right?
turns out.
Sure.
So he goes, oh yeah, they're assassins for the Yakuza. I'm like, wait, what? What world do you live in? So he said the ninjas and the American guys, there was beef, like static.
We're not talking about Mr. Fuji here.
No.
Okay.
You remember his Mr. Fuji story?
No, I don't.
Oh, it became an episode of South Park.
Really?
Oh, dude, there's so many
Yeah,
stories.
I'm sorry. I'm
guys.
sorry. I
Don't
went in the wrong
distract,
direction.
don't
I shouldn't
distract
have
Eddie.
So long, all right,
Ninjas.
I'll just get the punchline.
Yeah.
Ninja assassins.
So they're not talking to each other, and Roddy said there was one time they were in the gym together,
Yeah.
and Roddy was on a rowing machine. He was on the rowing machine for like about a half an hour, and then the ninja got onto the rowing machine next to him, and they're not talking at all.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
ninja speaks
Right.
Japanese, Roddy speaks English,
Yeah.
and Roddy's like, I'm not giving up. I'm going to make sure he's the first to do it. So after 2.5 hours, the ninja finally stopped. Roddy went.
Stop it.
It was like a tough
Like
guy.
a weird
Yeah.
competition?
Yes,
Huh.
everything was a weird competition on the set.
Okay.
He was like, but then I'm smoking a joint by myself up in the room, and one of the ninjas is walking down the hall, and he kind of peeks his head in. And he was like, and Roddy's like, yeah, you want to get high? And I'm just like, yeah. And he starts to smoke. He's getting
Ninja.
high with the ninja.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then they start talking, and he realized how much they had in common, how cool they were.
Yeah.
And after about half an hour into the conversation, Roddy looks at the ninja and was like, you really had me fooled. I had no idea you spoke English.
Yeah.
And the ninja looks at him and goes, I don't know how to speak English. And Roddy goes, dude, I don't know Japanese. And the ninja goes, I don't know English. And then they realized they shouldn't be talking to each other. And then they looked at each other and couldn't understand a word after that.
What
And I
the
go,
heck?
wait a second, Roddy,
Wait,
you're
what?
telling me
What?
you got so high with a ninja you could communicate with him? And he was like, it was the 80s.
That must have been some good stuff. That must have been some good stuff.
Yeah.
It was
That's
the
awesome.
80s. Oh
Well,
my
Steve,
God.
I tell you, I'm so happy you're
Wow.
back.
Story.
Gotta go check him out.
Oh.
Grand Comedy Club in Escondido. Like I
Yes.
said, couple shows tonight, couple shows tomorrow night. Great stuff, Steve.
Dude,
Good
it's
talking
about,
to you,
and
man.
it's Father's Day, guys.
Yes.
Can we get a shout out
Let's
for
go.
your dads?
What
up?
And the show's
Bring your
at
dad.
6:30.
Bring
What's
your dad.
better than that?
6:30, 8:30. Come on, let's
You'll be
go.
home by 9.
Yeah,
Perfect.
love it. Thanks, Steve. Good to see you, bud.
Yes.
We are big Disney fans.